Well guys, I bought yet another laptop. It's an ATG E6420 from Dell. Yeah, pretty neat little machine. Full, semi-rugged or business rugged. Not a fully rugged machine, but it's got port covers and yeah, it's a decent little thing. It has some issues with the screen. Apparently these machines have kind of two layers to the screen. There's like the normal screen, a gap, and then a layer of glass, and then in that gap there's a liquid that they for some reason put in there. I think it has something to do with the daylight readability of it, but apparently they leak quite easily, and these have that symptom. You can see in some of the pictures here they've got like these bubbles around the outside of the screen, or in that one there, you can see it, but it's like outlined in red there, where the liquids actually started to drain out of them. But I'm thinking I might be able to fix that by either just draining the rest of the liquid out or removing that outer glass layer. And if that doesn't work, I can get a brand new display for these for $50. That's not one of the liquid filled ones, just a plain old, I think just a TN panel, 1366 by 768. Very standard panel that they take. So it's not a big deal at all if I have to replace that. And still, I paid $90 for this. I weaseled them down $5 on it, and so I'd have under $150 for a really nice laptop. They've got a 2.6 gigahertz Core i5 in them, 4 gigs of RAM, which I'll be promptly upgrading to 8, and I'll be putting an SSD in it. I do have an OCZ Agility 3, I think, laying around 120 gig. That'll go in there, and I might put a 1 terabyte storage drive in the optical drive bay because there's adapters for that. And I want to use this for a mobile video editing workstation, which I think it'll work quite well for. So yeah, waiting for that to come in the mail. It should be here in a few days. So when that arrives, I'll be making an update video on that. But what I'm here to talk about today is, let's see if the camera will readjust to the colors. Ooh, not very well. Is the bike, which is finally done. Excuse the mess in here, please. Yeah, so it's finished. I'll splice in some clips of me riding it here. Well, right now, I guess, is as good of time as any. So I'll put those here. And we're back, and let's talk a little bit about the bike. So, in the back here, I've got a 500 watt, 500 to 1200 watt actually motor, hub motor, and it's limited to a peak of 750 watts by the motor controller, which I have up underneath the saddlebag here. This box here is just kind of a junction box for all the wires where they come together and all the connectors. Just a thing to kind of keep the water out of that. I'm going to eventually silicone it up once it's everything's kind of finalized on that. I've got the control surfaces up here. We've got our throttle and kind of the power and mode selector, which doesn't do anything because I don't have the Hall effect sensor put on there for pedal assist yet. I do plan on doing that eventually, but it's not really that important in my opinion because I don't really use that much. I just kind of go at whatever speed and then pedal to help it along. But overall, this thing is working absolutely great. The battery pack is roughly 20 to 24 amp hours, somewhere in that range, and it sits right underneath the saddlebag back here. You can see the big electrical taped mess, which is currently that pack. It's wrapped in layers of cardboard and electrical tape, which seems to hold it together well enough, but let's just hope it doesn't get rained on. I do have a headlight set up on here, which, if you notice, I push the button to which is located right there in a nice convenient area, but it doesn't turn on because this headlight runs off the main battery pack. You have to first turn the bike on, which there's a switched 36 volt output straight from the motor controller, which then has a 36 to 5 volt step down converter, which transforms that down to 5 volts for the headlight. And then when you push the button, headlight comes on, which is very bright. It's actually a Coast HL3 headlamp that I've kind of hacked apart to work with this. I used to have a battery pack sitting right there until I upgraded it to run off of the main battery pack. But yeah, overall it's been just one heck of a project. I've put a lot of time into this thing and am extremely pleased with the results. I've been riding it a lot lately, and it's just been a fantastic little vehicle. I've had some minor setbacks, like the rear tire. It blew the inner tube on it shortly after I got it, but it was a very cheap tube that came with the bike, and I think there was a defect in it somewhere. Well, there was like a weird kind of, not a crease mark, but it just kind of split along part of the tube. I think it was just a bad tube from the factory. So got a new one in there, and it seems to be working well enough. The rear tire is already wearing down quite a lot. You can see there, but the tread's probably about halfway worn down already, which isn't looking too good for these tires. We did have a minor incident where my roommate was playing with it and got the throttle kind of stuck and kind of burnt a hole through the floor. So that's also another reason why that's all worn down. Yeah, that was a thing to come back to. But yeah, overall, excellent project. I would highly recommend building one of these if you have the time and the money, because they're just so much fun to ride. And heck, it could even save you money on your commute if you have a place where you can ride these things on a daily basis. Because, I mean, it takes literally just a few cents to charge it. I'm still working on the charging circuitry, by the way. Right now I have to use the stack of iMax B6 chargers here to power. It actually runs two separate battery packs. They're two 18.5 volt packs, which equal a 36 volt pack when run in series. So inside the bag here, I've got the charging leads that come out. There's the main power connectors for that, and then the balance leads, which is some crappy ribbon cable that I fudged on there, but it works. Not the best connectors in the world. It's got Dean's connectors on that, so they plug straight into the iMax B6 without any adapters. Yeah, overall, really fun little thing. I'll have to get some more video of it later on once the weather improves a little bit here, because it's been kind of like around 40 and raining. So yeah, not an ideal time to be riding the thing. But the other day I did have some good chances to take it out and get some video. I'd like to get video while I'm on it, but I don't have any real good way to hold the camera while I'm filming. So, but yeah, all I can say is even if you don't have an electric bike and you have a mountain bike and just want to carry a lot of stuff, this saddlebag here from Ross Wheel, I think it is, you can find them on eBay. I think they're around 35 bucks. These things are great. You can hold so much stuff in there. I honestly wouldn't bother really with this top piece that goes on it. It's supposed to kind of fit on top like that. But all I've really noticed is once you have this fastened down, it kind of likes to slouch over to one side or the other. It's not really that big of a deal, but it looks kind of bad. But you can hold a lot more stuff in there. What I do is, if I need to put things in that to carry like books and stuff, I have a cardboard box in there that just happens to fit perfectly. And I just stick the stuff in there, and it helps it keep its shape so it doesn't like go all slouchy and weird. So yeah, that's a temporary thing for the time being. Most of the time I don't ride it with that though. I can fit a lot of stuff just in the two side bags like this. These hold a lot. I've put, I think, an 8-pack of soda in there and like 5 frozen dinners from the grocery store near here and hauled them back. So that it holds enough. You know, there's plenty good enough just like that. And if I need more, I can always put the other bag on. All right, guys, let me know what you think of it. And big shout out to Renault Super Genius for inspiring this project. It's been a pleasure watching his videos, and I really enjoy his electric vehicle projects, his electric tricycle and his electric bike before and after that. because I know he recently had a bit of a mishap with the tricycle where its rear axle sheared off. Hopefully I don't have anything similar happen with this one. I'm hoping the rear, or well, all the bike is sturdy enough to handle the shocks of the motor and stuff. So far it seems like it's plenty good enough. So I'm going to continue making improvements to it. The next thing I plan on doing is putting the brake levers that came with the kit on here, but instead of using these switches on them for what they're designed for, which is like an emergency cutoff switch, I'm going to be hooking them up to a brake light. So when I squeeze the brake levers, brake light comes on, which should be pretty easy to do, because both of the switches, when you pull the switch or when you pull the lever, it makes contact. So that's easy enough. I was afraid it would be the other way, where when you pull it in, since it like releases off of a switch, I figured it would like break the circuit instead of completing the circuit. But thankfully they behave as they should for that. So I think that'll be pretty easy to implement. I also want to put turn signals on it. So I think I'm going to put a little plate in the back here, right where this reflector is, that'll have a light that's on whenever the headlight's on, just a single red LED, I think, maybe one behind a reflector. And then there'll be a second ring of lights around that will light up when I apply the brakes. And then out here to the sides, I'm going to have the turn signals. It'll probably be quite a ways out here. There'll be a little, I'm going to get LEDs that have this little circuit in them that makes them blink whenever you apply power. And I'll just have it so there'll be a little toggle switch, and it'll run probably a 3.3 volt. I'll probably run another step-down converter in line with the other one to get the proper voltages for all this. Either that, or I'll just make a quick little resistive dropper for that and just bodge something together in the box up there. But anyway, I'll just have a little switch up here somewhere on the handlebars. I haven't figured out where I'm going to put it. I might just put it in the center, even though that will be kind of awkward to use. Or maybe right above the throttle here. I don't know. I'll figure something out with that. But so yeah, so you can actually use the turn signals. That'd be really nice. So I don't have to signal by hand anymore. And yeah, overall project's really come out well, I think. It's been a quite reliable little thing, and there's people honking their horns out there. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I will see you guys later.